Well, a lot has happened in just the last 4 weeks now of this pandemic. Things are changing almost every day. The change may be a little slower now than it was when we started, but clearly things are not the way that they were. Change has become a constant. Today, we talked about two different mindsets in periods of change, both of them coming out of Palm Sunday, when Jesus, coming through the parade, came to a proverbial fork in the road with this question: "The hour is come, now my heart is troubled. What shall I say?" When he said, "What shall I say?" two roads diverged. One of them was, "Father, save me from this hour." It's the way of survival. Or do I say, "Father, glorify your name"? It's the way of surrender. The way of survival and the way of surrender are two very different roads. And what determines which road we travel is not the circumstances, not our personalities. It's not even our religion or our faith. It's a predisposition. It's a leaning or a bent. We are either leaning towards survival, how do I get through this? Or we are leaning towards surrender. How do I make God more glorious in this world? If we have a survival mindset, then our idea of God is fixed. He should solve this, and he hasn't. We divide things into categories, either good or bad, and we can't wait for things to get back to normal. And the longer they take to become normal, the more agitated and frustrated and rigid, sometimes angry we become. If we have a mindset of surrender, then our idea of God is more open. We know that he's sovereign and all-powerful and good, but we're not sure what those words really mean. We don't divide all of life into good or bad, for everything has come from God himself, and we're not waiting for things to go back to normal. We're remembering things that are revealed and trustworthy and sure, and therefore our inside is strong and stable, and we are patient and adaptive. From those two ways, it should be clear that many people that you're in contact with are walking down the road of survival. Maybe you are. The way towards the other, the way to reach into the world of surrender, is to pray a prayer of indifference, which we did at the end of the service. And then maybe with your group or with your family or the leaders in your team, you might ask a couple of questions. One of those is, what do we want to be true of us when all of this has passed? What virtues and qualities and habits will we want to have learned through this that only this could bring us? Maybe you'll get your group together and ask, where do we see God active right alongside all of our losses and the threats and the fragility of life? Where do we see God active? Maybe you'll ask yourself, what has God revealed about who we are and about who he is that is unchanging no matter what? And as those attributes and those words from Scripture begin to surface in your conversation, I think you will start to feel again that God is trustworthy. He is solid and he is sure. And no matter what happens in this crisis, God's name will be glorified. My prayer for you this week is that in everything you do, in your families and on your teams, you will make the name of God more famous